Even the highest rated Rocket League players are prone to making the simplest of mistakes. Mistakes players make in every rank in the game. Today we'll discuss these common mistakes and show you how you can try to eliminate them from your own game. So the player that we're going to be taking a look at today was a GC3 last season, but after the season reset, he has come back down to GC1. So we're going to see what kinds of simple mistakes they end up making that are currently holding them in this lower rank compared to where they were last season. So let's go ahead and roll this forward and see what we can glean from what's going on here. Decent kickoff right out the gate. Gonna go swing over and grab that mid boost. That's alright. We're gonna take time with this ball. I like that. And maybe even taking a little too much time here. So as this ball gets chipped downfield, I really like this idea of catching it. And now if we freeze it right here, what we'll see is that the only player we're really concerned about is Crazy right here, who is facing upfield and looks like he's going to be coming over to challenge us, as Neva here is totally out of the play. We have 73 boost currently, so that is plenty to be able to make a play downfield. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to create an opportunity where we allow this first man on the opposing team into the play. We want to try to take them out of the play as quickly as we possibly can. So what ideally we want to do here is take this ball under control, speed it up the wall, and get it downfield as quickly as possible, utilizing the boost we need to, and then keeping whatever boost we can to stay behind the ball to continue to make a play. By kind of stutter stepping over here in the corner to pick up this boost, we end up inviting this player into the play and create an opportunity for a challenge along the wall, where it should just be a clean beat out. So I know we kind of want to pick up this boost, but we don't need it. We have the boost we need. Just focus on getting this ball downfield. Don't allow them into the play. And then I'm not a fan here of this rotation back. We make things very awkward, so the ball gets chipped around. That's fine. Looking at Crazy's positioning here, it doesn't really look like he's going to be able to get back to the ball. Even if he does, there's no current threat in the midfield here immediately. We have a player back. We don't really want to rotate down into this corner, because based on the positioning of our teammate, that is the direction that he's going to be trying to move this ball out of our half once again. So by going this way, we're going to create a bit of a traffic jam where he has to get the ball around us before he can work on really getting it downfield. So instead, as we come off this wall, we can just drive into the midfield. If we are worried about some kind of pass coming through, we can possibly look for a demo option here, and then just rotate around. As our teammate clears this ball out, we can then make the decision if we need to rotate back into net, or if we can swing around and push out on offense. But I don't like this idea of rotating back towards where our teammate is going to be trying to clear the ball, because that just makes things very, very awkward. All good though, works out. And again here, we're flipping forward for no reason. So we want to be involved in the play, that's all fine. We've put ourselves a bit out of the play by the fact that we have floundered on our back line. But now we see Crazy has a touch here, and if we look at the position the ball is in, it is very obvious that no matter what we do, this player at the very least is going to have the next touch on the ball. So it is perfectly fine for us to drive forward here to apply pressure to him, but we don't really want to dive at it, because by diving, we've just given the opponent more opportunity to play the ball around us, because we'll be less in control of our car. So if we see that the opponent is going to have the next touch, we really don't want to be committing to using a flip, because by flipping here, we've committed in going in one direction for the next second or two or so, and given them an opportunity to play the ball around us while we're in this animation. So as you can see, we flip forward, we've committed fully in this angled direction here, the ball bounces up, and now it's just a free ball for Neva. Luckily, he doesn't do a whole bunch with it, and I do like this idea of just sitting in front of him and making him awkward. Allows our teammate to come forward, and we get the clear downfield. 1-0 lead, very good. And this is going to be a bit of an awkward kickoff, and it's going to result in an immediate goal. So the only thing I'll say on this kickoff here is we haven't seen Jomp go for kickoff yet on the first kickoff of the game we went. So we really don't know what to expect from him. So with that in mind, I would be a bit more hesitant to cheat super far up the field, just because we don't know what kind of kickoff this dude's going to have. I would cheat lighter so that we can react more to what's going on, instead of being caught off guard by the ball popping over our head into an awkward position. Other than that, though, there's not really much we can do in this situation. You do a nice job of jumping up as fast as possible, but once you've cheated up this far and the ball's on top of you, it's a little hard to get back to it. So a softer cheat might have been good there, just so we can check what kind of kickoff Jomp has for the rest of the game. But kickoff goals do happen. It is a fact of the game. Decent kickoff here for us. I like this flip backwards. We're going to pick up the boost here, then flip forward. This is fine. See what happens here. Jomp gets the touch. And we get an awkward approach here on this ball. Be careful on these. We're making our life a little bit harder here than we need to. So this ball is floating directly into our corner. We know we have time with it. Crazy's on his way forward, but he's still not really that close. We can take a bit of a wider angle to this ball, which would allow us a better chance to play the ball into a successful place. By taking this tight of an angle on this turn, we really limit our options of how we can approach the ball, which also makes it easier for Crazy to read what's happening. So if we take a wider swing here, we can either pinch this ball up the wall, we can catch it and dribble it. Either way, we want to make sure that we're maintaining control of this and not just kind of teeing it up for our opponent. So we want to make sure that we're staying far enough back that when the ball lands, we can actually catch and control, instead of it just kind of popping off the side of our car back into the wall where we can't maintain possession of it. I do like this bump getting back, making sure that he can't make a play on the ball. That's very nice. Be careful of this rotation here, though. So based on the positioning we're in, our teammate clearly is going to be the one going across for this ball. There's absolutely no reason that he wouldn't. We have a decent amount of boost, so we don't really need all of the pads in the world. I do like the idea of rotating some of these while we have time, but what I would do is I would stop around this mid pad, and then just work our way back towards the net, and then be able to turn whatever direction we need from there to be able to make a play. What we don't want to do is we don't want to put ourselves in the same position as our teammate. So if we go all the way around these pads, all we're doing is working ourselves into the corner where our teammate is also going to be, which is going to make things very awkward if the ball comes back towards our own net, as both ourselves and our teammate will be in the same spot. So as you can see, I like this, but now look at where we are. Same spot as our teammate. We can't attack the ball. Now we're both on top of each other trying to get a 50, and we lose that challenge, and it's just a goal. If you had been further backed off, if you had been at the goal or heading back to it, instead of being here, when this ball pops out like this, you actually would have been able to come forward to attack it, or at least had a better challenge angle than having to drive up the backboard and hope and pray that you were going to get a decent challenge. It's a good challenge from the opponent to make it work, but there was definitely better positioning that could have been had there to limit the risk of that play. Good demo here off the kickoff, gonna allow our teammate to come forward. I love that. Be careful here of chasing corner boost. So yeah, we're low boost here, that's fine, we have 0. Teammate picked up the corner. Teammate has a free ball here, so what we want to do is we want to stay relevant in this play. If we go all the way over to the corner for the full boost, all we're doing is taking ourselves completely out of the play and making a ton of ground that we're going to have to cover if we want to get back into it. So instead, what I would recommend is going for pads. Now, what I would probably do in your position is I would come off the wall and I would pick up this pad here, and then judging on where the play is going, I will either go to that pad over there or this pad over here and then continue up the field from there as long as the play is still moving. One of the best lines of boost that exists on the field is this line right here. If you just drive in a straight line down through here, you'll pick up all of these pads. So that's also something to keep in mind. So if you had come off the wall, grab this pad, and then grab this one, you could actually just continue down this line as the play moved forward, and then you could swing over if you needed to be a passing option. Just looking for ways to move up the field with your teammate, picking up pads, rather than staying along the back line and chasing full boost when you really don't need to. So as you'll see, we take ourselves fully out of the play, teammate gets beat. If we were over there, we would have been able to challenge this ball much faster, but now because we're all the way on the other side of the field, we have to try to cover this ground. Neva sees us coming from an absolute mile away, and it's super easy for him to just chip the ball around us. Unfortunately for the blue team, it is a bad bounce, but if they get any better bounce, that is a goal for them, and it is purely on you. Right here, I don't really like this jump. This feels a little ball chasey. So we have full boost sitting on the ground here. Crazy is just controlling the ball above his net. What exactly are we concerned about with letting him do this? If he just sits there and air dribbles the ball above his net, eventually he has to come back down. There is absolutely no threat of anything from him doing this, so there's not really much of a reason to waste our boost to go up for it, because also even if we can get a touch, it's just going to result in another free ball for our opponents because our teammate has rotated back. So this feels a little unnecessarily ball chasey, just to throw in random challenges that don't really have much of a benefit when our opponent is making themselves awkward as it is. In this situation, not every play needs to go to the wall. We don't need to force everything into an air dribble off the wall. I like this challenge in the midfield, and I love you getting back for this demo, that's great. But now we have an entire open field with about 25 boost that we could just dribble, pick up pads as we go, and we would have an opportunity to go for some kind of dribble play. But instead, you're ending up taking a ton of time to just chip this ball over to the side, try to play it up the wall, and then go for the boost, except our teammate grabs it. But now look what's happened. Our opponent's defense is now basically completely reset because we've bought them time by playing the ball around in our own half. So if we just push that ball downfield quickly, we have a great offensive opportunity. Instead, we take too much time, allow the defense to get back, and there's no offensive opportunity for us. I don't like this hesitation here. We see Jomp going back, he has the full boost. As soon as Neva drops this ball, it's free for us to go challenge. There's not much that he can do at that point to get it around us, except to try to 50 it. So at the point that he drops it, we're just going to go. Taking our time there just gives him more of a chance to set up behind the ball. Again, I don't like that everything feels like it has to go into the air. We have plenty of boost here. This ball is completely free. By holding here in the midfield, breaking, and then jumping straight up, all we're doing is inviting the defense in for a challenge that they have a much easier angle to reach. Because Neva can go forward and up instead of just having to go straight up, which means he can attack it with more speed. Instead of doing this, we have a free ball here. Ball's gonna pop down. We know Neva is probably gonna be eyeing up some kind of challenge here. As this ball comes down, we see Crazy rotating this way. We're just gonna go in for the challenge here and push it towards our opponent's corner to try to apply some pressure. By, again, taking time and waiting for this ball to bounce and then going up with it, all we're doing is allowing more time for the defense to get fully set, which means it is harder for us to apply solid offensive pressure because they're not really in that much of an awkward spot. In this situation here, Neva does not get a great touch, so it does result in another chance. And again, I'm not a fan of taking ourselves flipping forward in this instance. Crazy is very easily going to have this ball around you. I think we apply enough pressure just by sitting here. As we land, that's fine. We can just go, take pads, and rotate back. We don't really want to commit over to this corner, because if Crazy can gain control of this ball, now we've created a 1v1 for him against our teammate by not getting back as fast as possible. See how we get along for the last little bit. Decent kickoff. Crazy gonna have touch, but it's blocked out by Jump. Very good. Pick up the boost. See what happens. We can let him touch it. That's fine. Force the 50 there. Very good. Free goal for Jump once again, and that is the lead. So I really like this play overall. We kind of are forcing out Neva to go for something. If he wants to just bang this, that's absolutely fine, because we're forcing him to do that, and Jomp is already back behind us. So if Neva just booms this over the top of us, Jomp is going to have us covered along the back line. But if he does take control, now we are in a position to make him really awkward. Make him do a lot of thinking about how the ball is going to get around us. And while he's doing that, we're just setting up to 50 the ball off of him and give it to our teammate. This is really good, basically forcing him to do something. If he doesn't do something, that's fine, we'll just stay in front of it. Now you've given us a free challenge, so we'll go ahead and take it. Your teammate's out of position, and my teammate is right here for the follow-up, so we will take the free goal. Rushing in here. I don't like this dive. Not necessary. So we're waiting for our teammate to respond. As our teammate respawns, we're going to go, okay, we'll turn up field now. We don't need to jump. Not a single reason to jump. We have the lead. Time's ticking down. We don't need to take ourselves out of the play. Yes, we have the boost to recover from this, but if we take ourselves out of the play and then have to work our way back, we are now just giving an odd-numbered attack for our opponents against our one teammate back. We just want to do a drive challenge here. Just drive up, force him to do something, drive away. Because that keeps us in the play, allows our teammate to come forward, and we immediately rotate back behind him and can follow up on his next challenge. He didn't have to do anything there. We took ourselves out of the game. Luckily, we recover quickly, and the ball is over the top. I don't really know if you need to rush into net like this. There's not really much of a shooting option here. We're just absolutely sending it for no reason. You could actually chill outside of the net and wait to see what happens, because you'd have a much easier time following this ball across instead of having to come off the top of the goal. Although again, our opponents were not super fast in recovering the play, and again, we're taking ourselves out of the play for no reason. So Crazy's backwards. I understand we think he's going to pop this up and immediately go up in the air, so we want to go for the demo here, but it's not worth it. Just stay on the ground, let him go. If he stays on the ground, we get the demo. If he jumps, we forced him to jump in an awkward spot where he's getting pressured. But then we are able to just drive back. We don't land in their corner with low boost. We don't have to try to work our way back slowly, leaving our teammate alone. We want to make life as easy as possible. Just keep our wheels on the ground here, and we would have been able to get back just fine. Now we only have 10 boost. Now we have 0. Now we're working our way back. Of course, the blue team, once again, absolutely one of the worst possible attacks you could have imagined, and that's going to be the forfeit win, as it looked like it was going to be a free goal for us. If I had to give you a list of things to work on, the first thing I would say is boost pad pathing. There seemed to be an over-reliance on the big boosts, and you almost never relied on just rotating through small pads. If there was a big boost that you could go for, even if it was taking you miles out of the play, you were going to take it. So that's probably the biggest thing that I would say for you to work on. The second thing is look for where the opportunity is. Don't try to force an opportunity somewhere else. What I mean by this is a lot of times you are trying to force the ball into the air. We saw it a couple of times in this game where once you had a free dribble option and instead you took about 10 seconds to try to set the ball up along the wall to be able to follow it up through the air. And you also had an opportunity where you could have gotten a lighter touch to control the ball along the wall after it bounced back off the sidewall, and instead you waited for the ball to bounce up to try to take it up into the air, and again, that just invited in a challenge from the defense. So really focus on looking for where the opportunity is. Don't try to force a play into somewhere that doesn't really make sense. And the last thing we'll say is just keep in mind how you're moving about the field. This includes how you're rotating back around your teammate, how you're rotating forward to support him through boost pads, and how often you're utilizing flips. We don't ever want to utilize a flip when another player will have a touch on the ball, because we don't want to commit to a direction that the ball doesn't end up going. As we said at the beginning, these are all simple mistakes that pretty much every rank makes in Rocket League. But if you really want to take your game to the next level, you need to build everything off of a solid base of fundamentals. Every single fundamental needs to be absolutely top tier if you want to push into the highest levels of the game. I do hope you guys found this video helpful. Of course, if you did enjoy, make sure you click that subscribe button right down below so you make sure you don't miss any future Rocket League content. Additionally, if you guys would like to be more involved in this community and possibly have one of your own replays analyzed, please consider joining my Discord link down in the description. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. See you later, guys.